And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza. And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time on Spreaker Radio, MyCast, Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide. I also broadcast on Roar 1776 Radio and Live 365 Radio every Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day simply by clicking on that icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. Dial directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Now, to stand by for news. Now, on today's show, we'll discuss what's in the news, new legislation the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. My special contributor today is Ray Mailer with his series, The American Grid, and my special guest, Joel Salzman, Dr. Wireless, talking about wireless services and technology and the things that are going on there. But I want you to know that right now at 4:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently, get this, 93 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's down from 102 degrees on its way to 70 degrees. Give us a break, right? Now we know exactly where we're going with it and what's going to happen. But you know what? Let's just get right into our news for the day. Lots of it. This came in 8 minutes ago. Brady fights on, files a lawsuit to stop the suspension. Tom Brady took the fight over his Deflategate suspension to social media and federal court today. And New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft backed the three-time Super Bowl MVP, saying, "I was wrong to put my faith in the league." One day after NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell rejected Brady's appeal, the star quarterback posted a 507-word statement on Facebook with his firmest denial yet, writing, "I did nothing wrong." Kraft followed with an unscheduled address to the media gathered at Gillette Stadium for the opening of training camp and the team's defense of its fourth Super Bowl championship. "It is completely incomprehensible to me that the league continues to take steps to disparage one of its all-time great players and a man for whom I have the utmost respect," the Patriots owner said. "I have come to the conclusion that this was never about doing what was fair and just." Just before the courts closed in Minnesota, the NFL Players Association asked U.S. District Judge David Doty to overturn Brady's 4-game suspension or at least put it on hold until the case can be heard. The union asked Doty to throw out the suspension before September the 1st that would keep Brady from missing any practices before the Patriots' September 10th season opener against the Pittsburgh Steelers. "We need to free him up for the first week," union attorney Jeffrey Kessler told the Associated Press. "We don't believe this discipline can ever be sustained." Well, you know what? Unfortunately, I think it's going to be sustained. We'll see what happens. I don't blame him for fighting, to try and get out of this thing, but the truth is, ain't going to happen. The guy's going to be punished and deserves to be punished. This is not an accident. How about this? 9 minutes ago, from a U.S. official, debris in the photo belongs to a Boeing 777. Air safety investigators have a high degree of confidence that a photo of aircraft debris found in the Indian Ocean is of a wing component unique to the Boeing 777, the same model as the Malaysia Airlines plane that disappeared last year, a U.S. official said today. Air safety investigators, one of them a Boeing investigator, have identified the component as a flaperon from the trailing edge of a 777 wing, the U.S. official said. A French official close to the investigation of the debris confirmed today that French law enforcement is on site to examine a piece of airplane wing found on the French island of Réunion in the western Indian Ocean. A French television network was airing video from its Réunion affiliate of the debris. The United States and French officials spoke on condition that they not be named because they aren't authorities to speak, or authorized actually to speak publicly. At the United Nations, Malaysian Transport Minister Leo Tiong Lai told reporters that he has sent a team to verify the identity of the plane wreckage. Well, you know what? Whatever wreckage found needs to be further verified before we can confirm that it belongs to that MH370 Malaysian Airlines jet. You know, hopefully it'll begin to tell us something. That's what we really need to have. We just desperately would like to have some answers. It's certainly the families of those loved ones would. 53 minutes ago, Taliban leader Mullah Omar reclusive in life and death. Mullah Muhammad Omar, the secretive head of the Taliban and an al-Qaeda ally who led a bloody insurgency against the United States-led forces, eluded capture for more than a decade in spite of being one of the most hunted fugitives on earth. Today, he was reported to have died 2 years ago in a Pakistani hospital, according to the Afghan intelligence agency. In Washington, the United States government said they considered the report credible, though it was not confirmed by the Taliban or Pakistan. Even in possible death, the one-eyed cleric warrior was shrouded in mystery. He led a movement that swept over most of Afghanistan in the 1990s and became notorious for imposing what was perhaps the strictest regime of Islamic law in the world at the time. For his Afghan followers and Osama bin Laden's al-Qaeda militants, Mullah Omar held the supreme status of commander of the faithful, and yet only one known photograph of him exists. You know what? Glad he's gone. I don't know how you feel. I'm glad he's gone. So let's just leave it at that. I don't want to give him any more publicity than he should. He doesn't deserve it. And today, Ohio cop is indicted on murder charge and traffic stop shooting. A University of Cincinnati officer who shot a motorist during a traffic stop over a missing front license plate was indicted today on a murder charge, with the prosecutor saying the officer purposely killed him and should never have been a police officer. Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters announced the grand jury indictment at a news conference to discuss developments of the investigation into the July 19th shooting of 43-year-old motorist Samuel Dubois by Officer Ray Tinsing. Authorities have said Tinsing spotted a car driven by Dubois and missing the front license plate, which is required by Ohio law. They say Tinsing stopped the car and a struggle ensued after Dubois refused to provide a driver's license and get out of the car. Tinsing, 25, has said he was dragged by the car and forced to shoot at Dubois. He fired once, striking Dubois in the head. But Dieters dismissed Tinsing's claim that he was dragged by the car and suggested that he shouldn't have pulled Dubois over to begin with. He fell backward after he shot Dubois in the head, Dieters said, adding that it was a chicken crap traffic stop. Yeah, you can say that again. It absolutely was a chicken crap traffic stop. You can just bet on that one. Well, how about this? Planned Parenthood seeks a Fed study of fetal tissue research. I'm going to tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Don't go away. You don't want to miss this. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we are talking about the news. So let's get right back into it. Planned Parenthood seeks a Fed study of fetal tissue research. Now, under fire for its role in providing fetal tissue for research, Planned Parenthood asked the government's top health scientists today to convene a panel of independent experts to study the issues surrounding the little-known branch of medicine. Planned Parenthood's request to the National Institute of Health came as Senate Republicans pressed their fight to bar the organization from receiving federal aid. Likely opposition from at least one GOP senator highlighted the long odds the GOP will face in a Senate showdown vote expected earlier next week. Planned Parenthood, which gets more than $500 million of its $1.3 billion annual budget from federal and state programs, has been under fire since the release of videos showing some of its officials discussing how they obtain organs from aborted fetuses for research. The videos were furtively recorded by an anti-abortion group. The inflammatory and misleading videos have pushed this issue into the national spotlight, said the letter from Planned Parenthood President Cecil Richards. In a thoughtful, careful review by leading medical and ethical experts could do a lot to help the public and policymakers think through this issue and reach informed conclusions. Anti-abortion groups and many Republican lawmakers have said it is morally wrong for the group to obtain fetal organs for research, and some have accused it of selling the tissue for profit, which would be illegal. Well, time will tell what happens here, but that is not a good thing. That's for sure. And this just came in today. Turkish attacks on Kurds muddle Obama's Islamic State fight. President Barack Obama's stepped-up partnership with Turkey in fighting the Islamic State may come at a cost of alienating another key group he's counting on for help in the same conflict, the Kurds. To Obama's relief, Turkey has finally started bombing Islamic State targets in neighboring Syria and agreed to let the United States military launch airstrikes from key air bases inside Turkey in a deal announced last week. But in an unexpected twist, Turkey simultaneously started shelling Kurdish rebels in Iraq, where Kurds have proven unusually capable of wrestling back territory from the Islamic State militants with the help of air support from the United States-led coalition. The White House has publicly sided with Turkey, endorsing the NATO allies' right to defend itself against recent deadly attacks in Turkey by the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK. But Iraq's prime minister says the Turkish strikes violate Iraq's sovereignty, and U.S. officials have quietly signaled they're urging Turkey to lay off. Well, you know what? We are really caught between a rock and a hard place here. We want those bases to use those bases out of Turkey. We want to attack Syria, and yet, we've sided with the Kurds who have been attacking ISIS in Syria, and now we have to side with Turkey attacking the Kurds who are fighting ISIS on our behalf. What a mess this is. Gee, money, Christmas. How about this? 19 minutes ago, Minnesota dentist rarely discussed hunting with patients. A Minnesota dentist who has become the target of worldwide outrage for hunting and killing a protected lion in Zimbabwe advised patients today to seek care elsewhere and said he rarely discussed his big game hunting because it can be a divisive and emotionally charged topic. Walter James Palmer remains secluded in the face of protests at a suburban Minneapolis clinic and intense condemnation online. He has not appeared in public since being identified yesterday as a party to the lion's death. Palmer, whose practice offers general and cosmetic dentistry, is an active big game hunter with many kills to his name, some of them registered with hunting clubs. The North Dakota native enjoys all outdoor activities, according to the biography page on his now dark clinic website. Anything allowing him to stay active and observe and photograph wildlife is where you will find Dr. Palmer when he is not in his office. In Zimbabwe, a hunting guide and a farm owner appeared in court on allegations that they helped Palmer kill the lion named Cecil. And the head of the Zimbabwe Safari Association said the big cat with the black mane was lured into a kill zone and denied a chance of a fair chase. The Zimbabwean men were accused of aiding Palmer, who reportedly paid $50,000 to track and kill a lion. Zimbabwe police have said they are looking for Palmer, whose exact whereabouts were unknown. Now we'll see what goes on there, right? Absolutely we will. Now, on Capitol Hill, the GOP is fighting itself instead of Democrats. When Republicans took full control of Congress this year, they were determined to show voters they could govern responsibly. Instead, they've been tearing each other apart in extraordinarily public displays, delighting Democrats and giving some of the GOP heartburn as the party aims for the White House in 2016. Just a few days ago, Texas Senator Ted Cruz took to the Senate floor to accuse Republican majority leader Mitch McConnell of lying, provoking a public dressing down from top GOP senators. A second Tea Party-backed Senator, Mike Lee of Utah, had to disperse mea culpas to McConnell and others after an aide's email surfaced suggesting outside groups should punish fellow Republicans for their votes. And in the latest episode of Republican versus Republican, savagery in less than a week, a conservative lawmaker, Representative Mark Meadows of North Carolina, filed a resolution last night, aimed at unseating GOP House Speaker John Boehner of Ohio. Now, Meadows' move, which infuriated House Party leaders, is highly unlikely to oust Boehner. The Speaker dismissed it as a little consequence and made clear he would not allow it to come to a vote. You got a member here and a member there who are off the reservation, Boehner told reporters. No big deal. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to talk about the IRS loses. And the first case is a case that's a split decision with the IRS. A husband is responsible for family business's taxes, but the wife is not. And I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. Sends chills up and down my spine, so let's just get right to it. This first case, as I mentioned before we went on our break, there was a split decision here with the IRS. Let me tell you all about it. A husband is responsible for the family business's taxes, but the wife isn't. This is it. Now, Jack Boyajian was owner and president of Far Hills Community Management Incorporated, a community associations management company, and his wife, Linda, was an employee. Now, when Far Hills failed to remit taxes withheld from employees' pay, the IRS held Jack and Linda personally liable for more than $200,000, he as CEO and she as the firm's accountant. They went to court. This is what the judge said. Jack's defense that he didn't know the non-payment of tax was just not credible, and even if true, not effective since it was his responsibility to know. But Linda credibly testified that she dealt primarily with clients and did not have control over the checkbook or deciding which creditors got paid. So she escapes the responsibility. And that is exactly how the law is written, so that's the way it ought to be. How about this? The IRS loses. They cannot avoid answering questions. Wait till you get this one. A company filed a refund suit against the IRS. During the suit, it filed questions for the IRS to answer. The IRS answered them all by saying its attorneys lacked sufficient knowledge about them to give that answer. Now, the company protested. They went to court. This is what the judge said. The issue was not whether the IRS's attorneys knew the answers to the questions, but whether the IRS itself knew the answers. Now, dodging the questions by saying the attorneys didn't know the answers violated court rules and was non-responsive. Thus, the non-answer answers are struck. The company is allowed to ask a new set of questions in excess of what the court rules normally allow, and the IRS is ordered to answer them. I mean, does that just make you smile? You got a smile on your face? It put a smile on my face. Here's one for you. The IRS concedes. Now, you know they don't concede unless they know they can't win, right? Here's the deal. Airline ticket tax does not apply to the ticket provider's fee. Sounds pretty simple, right? Well, here's the story. A business sells airline tickets to travelers. It buys them from airlines in arm's-length transactions, charges their cost to the travelers, and adds its own fee. So here's the issue. Who's responsible for the airline ticket tax, which is a percentage of the ticket price, and does it apply to the business's fee? So here's the IRS's ruling. The business is independent, not an agent of the airline. It does not provide transportation, but only facilitates the purchase of taxable transportation. So the tax is owed by the traveler and is to be collected and remitted by the airline, not the agency, on the cost of the ticket alone and not on the agency's fees. Now, doesn't it just make sense? Makes sense to me. Ought to make sense to you too. Now, let's move on here. Me talk about being inside the IRS, being a fly on the wall when they're doing stuff. Well, that's what we're talking about right now when we talk about inside the IRS. This is the first issue. Now, this is not a tax court case. These are precedents that were set by the IRS, and you can manipulate them to use them in your own defense. So here's the first thing up. What should you do when the IRS sends you a letter telling you to give them a call? Besides pass out, right? Now, sometimes it's not in your best interest to call the IRS as soon as you receive such a letter. Let me give you an example. Let's just say you owe the IRS money and you can't pay in full, but you will be able to pay the amount owed during the next 12 months. If you call the IRS, it's going to ask you to complete a financial statement listing all of your assets. Suppose you have a certificate of deposit or a brokerage account. The IRS is going to require you to break that CD or sell the securities in that brokerage account before it agrees to enter into any kind of an installment payment arrangement with you. But there's a better strategy here. Don't call the IRS at all. Instead, send in monthly payments by the time someone from the IRS knocks on your door or places a levy on your bank account, a good portion of the debt will have already been paid. At that point, you can generally work out a time period, about 3 months or so, to pay off the balance of your debt without having to submit a detailed financial statement. Now, of course, talk to your tax advisor first about your specific situation, but that's always going to be a good deal for you. It's going to work out really well for you. Well, you ever think about getting a reward from the IRS? It's possible. How do you get a reward from the IRS? Well, the IRS is getting better about rewarding tax informants, but the information you provide must still be specific if you're going to get that reward. General information that the IRS could easily figure out doesn't usually qualify you to get a reward or even warrant that reward. For instance, letting the IRS know that your neighbor lives in a newly renovated home and that he probably does not report all of his income is not going to get you a reward. The best deal is provide the IRS with specific information about how the scheme to evade taxes works and where the money's buried. And if you've got that, the reward is 10% of the tax collected. And that can be a pretty big deal if you think about it. But you know what? Just be sure about what you're doing. Don't start accusing your neighbors of doing all these things when you really don't know, just because you might be pinching a few pennies. Not really a good idea. Now, do not go away. We're gonna go for our commercial break, and when we get back, we're going to be talking to our own Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless. You don't want to miss this. I know he's got good stuff, even because he's always got more information than what he's got time to tell you about it. So we'll be right back with our own Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless, right after these brief messages. Do not go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:33 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 93 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's down from 102 degrees on its way to 71. I'm waiting for that 71 so I can turn my air conditioning off. But you know what? We're about to have a guy that doesn't need air conditioning. If he doesn't live 4 or 5 steps from the beach, he's 4 or 5 steps from getting his toes wet. He's in the beach every day. I'm talking about our own Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and get him in here because I know he's got a lot of stuff to talk to us about with regard to wireless technology and what's new with the wireless providers. Hey, Joel, welcome aboard. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, Robert. How about yourself?
I'm doing terrific. I wish I was where you were. I'm guessing that you were probably, you got your toes in the water and you had to come out to the shore just so you could do the show today.
Well, I didn't get wet today, but it is 79 degrees out here and rather pleasant.
Well, I can't believe that you would actually give up that kind of weather and not get out in that water. Not every time I talk to you and there's any kind of decent weather. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even have to have decent weather, and you're out on one of them boards. I can't believe you're saying you didn't go out today.
Well, I went down. I didn't go out in the water. I just so I'm half guilty as charged.
Okay. So listen, I'm guessing that maybe when the show is over, you might go out on the board.
Well, there is a possibility. As long as the sun's out and the day's not over, anything's possible.
All right. So listen, anything new and exciting on the horizon with regard to wireless?
We got great stuff this week, and more good stuff than bad stuff, I'm happy to report.
Oh, good.
First thing, T-Mobile. We love to start with T-Mobile. T-Mobile just came out with something that's pretty impressive. It's a new messaging system. Everybody's burnt out on the old text messaging where you can send up to 120 characters, and that was pretty much the limitation. You know how like your iPhone, your iMessaging is a little more sophisticated, than the regular messaging. It's like gives you almost real-time chatting instead of having to wait, minutes for the message to come through. It lets you see when other people are typing. It lets you see when messages are delivered and when they're read. Well, this is what T-Mobile is going to now offer their new text messaging. It's built on a platform called Rich Communication Services. It's advanced messaging is, I guess, what they'll call it. And we're going to see it very soon. It's going to be a software download for a lot of the current phones, like the S5s, S6s, iPhones. And the newer phones will have it built in. So I expect the other carriers will follow suit in that, it's definitely a more sophisticated type of messaging.
Mm-hmm. That sounds great.
Yeah, I thought you might like that. We have some new products that are pretty exciting as well. I think we talked about that brand OnePlus previously. Uh-huh. They're the Chinese Lexus of smartphones. They make really great phones for a fraction of the price. I think you'll recall them because they're the ones that had the crazy marketing program where you had to be invited. You had to get an invitation to buy the phone, and then they opened it up where you could buy the phone on their website, but only on Tuesdays. But they sold over 1 million of these phones, and the reviews were incredible. I never used one, but I had recommended at least half a dozen of my friends to buy these. They bought them, they love them, and they now have the OnePlus 2, which is coming out, I believe it was August 11th, if I recall. And this one is really impressive.
And it has all the same bells and whistles as the iPhone, right?
Yes, this is these are like iPhone knockoffs, I want to say, but they don't have iOS, they don't have Android OS, they have something called Cyanogen, which is compatible with Android, so it runs all the Android stuff. But the cool thing about these is the features are remarkable. It's got the same fingerprint sensor that Apple has, supposed to be quicker. It's huge, 5.7-inch screen. I think it's I know it's got that new reversible USB type connector like the Apple where you can stick it in either way. It's not, 50% chance you're going to get it right. And at the same time, there's a Motorola X
and I don't mean to
coming.
be laughing, but, I've got the 5S, right? And I constantly have to look at that plug to see if I've got it right side up or not when I plug it in.
It's 50-50 chance is what I tell people, where it's nice being able to new one, with the 6, you stick it in, you don't have to worry if it's upside down, downside up. It's really easy. But while we're talking phones, because I know I never finish, I wanted to also bring up there's a new Motorola. I haven't been excited about anything Motorola's done for years.
Are you excited about
Motorola, as you probably know, Motorola Mobility was sold off and bought by Lenovo, another Chinese company. And they're doing some amazing stuff.
I got to tell you, my desktop is a Lenovo, and I love it.
They make great stuff. I've had Lenovo product. They bought IBM, their desktop division. But this new Motorola product, I'm very impressed with, and I don't impress easy. But they've done a few things. They're keeping the price point at There's two of them. There's a 64 gig, which I think was $389, and I think the 329 for the 16 gig. But what's amazing about this phone, it's pretty much better in every way than the previous versions.
Yeah.
I know the camera now is like a 21 megapixel, which is phenomenal. It's a 5.7-inch HD screen. The processor was like a 1.8 megahertz hexacore, which is, God knows what it is. It just it seems awfully sounds fast.
But isn't it amazing?
But
the
this phone is really going to be amazing,
and
for the
are
price.
getting to be so technologically advanced. You almost don't ever need any other kind of sophisticated camera.
Well, you don't. And what's cool about this one is my big beef with all the other Android products versus the iOS is they all had their own bloatware or skins. The HTC had something called Sense, Motorola had something called Moto Blur, and they kind of built in their own proprietary crap over, the phone. So you had to deal with that on top of the various, Android, iOS, OS. And I like this because they've stripped it away. No more bloatware. It's this straight Lollipop 5.1.1 Android Pure Edition, and it's unlocked, and it's going to be a nice phone. They say the battery life is incredible, but it's 50% faster than the Samsung Galaxy S6. And, like I said, as for a 64 gig model for $389, the 64 gig 6 Plus is $850.
Yeah. Big.
So
this
is an intriguing option for people who want a high-end phone but don't want to drop $1,000.
Yeah.
So something to keep an eye peeled. Coming in September to a retail store near you.
Yeah, you know what? Anymore, and the competition's got to drive these prices down because $1,000 for a phone is ridiculous, especially since just about the time you walk out of the store with it, it's become obsolete because they got something new coming out.
That's true, and quite frankly, only Apple can really do that. I mean, Samsung is trying to do it, but Apple's been able to pull it off. But it's going to get tougher and tougher because you're now going to have a lot of competition from the Chinese and Korean brands.
Yeah.
So that's my guess. And now I've got some wonderful news for you. Save the best for you.
All right, I'm sitting down and strapped in.
Microsoft, ready for this one? Microsoft launched Windows 10 today.
Yes, it did, but not for everybody.
Well, for anybody who's got a licensed version of Windows 7 or later and who's got the requirements, which are pretty minimal. I mean, most smartphones would fit the requirements. They can get it for totally free. I have it on our website. Anybody who wants this, visit Facebook.com/DR Wireless, and you can download it right from our site. It's going to run on tablets and PCs. It's basically returning. It's kind of like Windows 7. They're getting rid of a lot of the stuff on 8 everybody hated. The start button's coming back, and most importantly, Cortana, which is Siri on steroids.
Yeah, so let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you because I actually spent a good portion of my morning trying to download the Windows 10, and then come to find out that it's supposed to put an icon automatically on the bottom right-hand side of my toolbar, but it has not. It has not done that in order to reserve the download. So then
I experienced the same phenomenon. I followed all the instructions, and it says register here, and I click register, and I got no confirmation whether I was successful or not. I registered 18 times, so either I was successful majorly or I didn't get it done, but we'll find out. The main thing is you have from now until July of next year.
Yeah.
July 2016 to register and get it free if you have a licensed version of 7 or 8.
Well, I've got 8.1. And so here's the thing. I actually had another issue because I subscribed to Office 365. Instead of buying the software, I just subscribed to it, and I've always got the latest version and everything that's out there, and I really like it. Well, it comes up for renewal on August the 27th, and they sent me an email today to let me know that. So I just went ahead and renewed it, right? I got a confirmation, and they're saying that's not a problem. It'll renew for 12 months at the expiration date of my current one, which is not a problem. Except that when I downloaded the doggone thing, it wiped out all my Office icons. So I actually wound up having to call Microsoft support, who came in remotely to get it back in for me.
Perfect. I was going to warn you, before downloading any new software, especially from Microsoft, always make sure you back up your old stuff. I assume you did that.
Yeah, I did. And then I talked to them, and they're saying that if the icon is not on my computer for the reservation for the Windows 10, some of them went in today. Some of them are going to come in tomorrow.
Yeah, that could be. What happens is this. They do these massive launches. They have millions and millions and tens of millions of subscribers. They offer this free download. You got people like me that are spouting off of talking about it. So their servers are just getting inundated with requests, download requests. It's a pretty large file. So you can only imagine, how many times and how many people can they download this file for simultaneously. So I have a feeling it'll show up.
Yeah. So, but
don't hold your breath, though.
So are you saying at facebook.com/Dr. Wireless, you actually have a link to the reservation or to the download?
I have several links to the article that gives the download and the explanation of, what it will do for you. But basically, from what I see, it's going to kind of return things back to 7 as far as the startup and add Cortana and some music services, streaming, some other benefits.
Yeah.
The Cortana is the real thing that I'm looking forward to.
Well, you know what? It's because that's their answer to Siri, right?
Yeah, and I'm told much better.
And then I'm looking forward to that because I use Siri on my iPhone, but I'm looking forward to using Cortana on my desktop.
Absolutely, because I tell my iPhone all the time, to send an email, send a text message, call somebody, call a restaurant to order something. Yeah. I mean, it's so wonderful once you get used to doing things by voice. It's great. So I think, and the Cortana is more sophisticated. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me too. Well, hey, I'm not paying attention. We got 15 seconds before we go on a commercial break. Why don't you give your information out real quick?
All righty. Again, for all of this information we're going over and more, www.drwireless.com. That's drwireless.com. Or visit us on Facebook at Facebook/drwireless.
And we'll be right back with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. He's got his satchel loaded with new and exciting information. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to my good buddy Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless. Joel, you've got the microphone.
Robert, I just wanted to go over the plan deals of the week. We had a couple of new things introduced, and there's some pretty smoking deals out there right now. The lowest deal in terms of cost, we have what we call the Dr. Wireless $24 monthly stealth plan. That one is unlimited voice, unlimited text, and unlimited Wi-Fi data. That's a plan you can use a smartphone on, but it doesn't include mobile data. And this is great for people who really don't need, to pay for a data plan, but wouldn't mind using a smartphone. With the right carriers, they do allow it. This is a reseller of T-Mobile. No contract, $24 a month, quit any time, no activation fees. It's a pretty good deal. Surprisingly, you hardly ever hear me recommend anything from Verizon. I haven't had a Verizon plan make deal of the week for quite some time, but they actually have one I like, and that is $160 for 2 lines, unlimited voice, unlimited text, and 10 gigabytes of data shared, which for most people is a good amount of data, and for Verizon, that is a pretty good deal. And then additional lines cost $40 per month, and we'll share that 10 gigabytes of data. The other cool ones, I think we may have mentioned last week when they broke, there's 2 T-Mobile programs that are new that I like. One of them is $100 for 2 lines, and it gives 10 gigabytes each of data, not 10 gigabytes to share, 10 each. And that deal also is the North American plan. So Canada's free, Mexico's free. You'll never pay roaming or long-distance charges communicating with Mexico or Canada. And 120 countries also free data and texting. So anybody who wants information on any of these plans, get with me, Joel at drwireless.com. Or, hit us on the website. We have our contact information there. So those plans are all, I think, pretty spectacular. And there's a few new ones, I think, that are going to be released by AT&T and some of the other carriers shortly. Let's see. We also have some news from our friends at AT&T. We talked about last week that they got fined $100 million for throttling without disclosing. Naturally, they're going to fight that. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I'd like to have my share of it.
But, they're arguing that, that they disclose this information. It's no surprise, and they shouldn't be fined. My take on that is anybody who's seen the carrier disclosures that are 4-point font and 10 pages long, and they bury this stuff in that. To say that you're disclosing that, is you need a microscope to be able to read that stuff in the first place, and a heck of a lot of patience.
And a Philadelphia lawyer.
And a lawyer. So, I don't think they're going to be successful, but time will tell.
So in the meantime, let me ask you. So in the meantime, they're actually appealing this thing. And so they're not paying the $100 million, or they're not even putting it up for bond. Does that mean that there is interest that's compiling on top of that $100 million?
Well, there is for you, and there is for I. And I just don't know how it works with these big dogs. That is a very good question. You would think that there should be, but with their lobbyists and their attorneys, their attorneys were countering the allegations, saying that the company disclosed plans for congestion management and all kinds of other arguments, But the bottom line is, if you sell something as unlimited, you have to deliver it as unlimited. And if you don't, you're lying. So I don't care about, congestion management.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah. Don't promise me something you're not going to deliver.
Exactly. So, and this has been the issue for a long time with these carriers. And finally, our friend Tom Wheeler, who ironically used to be their biggest advocate, he was the president of the CTIA for years and years and years, and he lobbied for those carriers, so they just can't understand why he's actually working for the public right now at their expense. It's quite ironic. I was worried that he wouldn't, but boy, has he been good.
That's everybody needs an advocate. Thank God we got the right one.
We do. We actually do. So happy. So far, I think most of the decisions he's made have been good. I'm still not sure about this AT&T Direct thing, but I don't have enough information to really call him on the carpet and say, he was wrong to approve it. So as long as, there's restrictions, we're probably okay. And then lastly, I wanted to let you know that Verizon, we were talking about how they are into streaming like nobody's business. They have this new streaming network that's rumored to be called Go90, and they have a new LTE multicast technology that is going to be huge because they're going to be able to broadcast concerts with this.
Whoa.
People are going to be able to
stay with that one for a minute.
Sure.
Who is going to be able to broadcast concerts with this?
Well, they're going to be able to stream concert events over cell phones. So in other words, you're going to be able to watch an event not being at that concert, with your cell phone. And it's going to be pretty intriguing. Unfortunately, it's not compatible with iPhones. But it does work with some other devices, and I'm sure it will become compatible with iPhones. But they also just signed a contract with HBO Now. So they're adding, Verizon video service users are going to be able to get, the $15 a month HBO mobile platform. What you always wanted for your smartphone, I'm sure.
Yeah, how many people actually, of course, the screens are getting bigger, but how many people are actually going to watch a concert on their iPhone or on their Android or whatever they're watching it on, as opposed to a laptop or an iPad or something like that? It's got a bigger screen. And certainly no matter which one of those you use, you're going to plug in your headset because you want to get the benefit of the great sound, right?
The only time I could see myself doing that would be if I was at a dentist's office waiting to go in, or if I was somewhere where I didn't have access to my tablet or my 55-inch screen or my 42-inch screen in the office, and yet I wanted to watch an event. I have unlimited data. I would do it. I watch those, World Surfing League contests, every week. So, the screen's not really an impediment. I wouldn't watch a hockey game on it, but, otherwise, it's nice to reserve the option to be able to do it if you wanted to do it. So that's my feeling about that. And then lastly, I wanted to mention, I don't know if you heard about this, but we talked about how hackers can take over your car while you're driving down the street if you've got one of these new Jeeps with the, fully connected systems.
Right.
Hackers can disable a sniper rifle or change its target. If you have a sophisticated sniper rifle that is computerized and you're using a Wi-Fi connection with it, and I certainly do that with my Barrett computerized sniper rifle every weekend. I'm no longer going to use that Wi-Fi connection because I just found out that, my weapon can be hacked. No, everybody, I don't really have a Barrett sniper rifle, but there are these computerized rifles that cost tens of thousands of dollars, and there's a new option, where these have a Wi-Fi connection, and they can be remotely operated, and apparently they can be remotely hacked as well. So,
wow.
I thought that was interesting. What are they going to hack next?
Well, I was scared when it was somebody hacking my car and taking it over. Now you're saying that they could hack my car and then shoot me as I got out the door.
Yeah, and if you were planning on using one of these guns, they can change your target on you or feed you bad information so you aim it wrong.
Yeah, jeez.
So crazy stuff. That's almost as crazy as this ex-NFL player who caught his college teammate ripping him off, burglarizing his house on camera. Did you hear about that one?
No, I haven't.
This guy was at a party with his, he was a professional wide receiver for an NFL team, and he was at a party with his college, one of his teammates, and his teammate left the party. Said he had to go somewhere, and this guy's phone goes off 15 minutes later, and it's his remote alarm notification, and it shows his buddy who just left in his house ripping him off.
Oh,
and he's watching it on the camera, and he said he even had a microphone where he could have said something to the dude, but he just quietly let the guy bury himself.
Oh, and then hopefully that's all being recorded on his camera, right?
Oh, it was. What happened is the motion sensor went off. The guy got an email. He clicked on live cam, and he watched his buddy totally rip him off, going through all his belongings. He said he was speechless when he realized that the dude doing this was his buddy who had just left him at a party.
Oh, jeez.
He says, I actually watched him doing it while he was doing it. I could have actually spoke to him. I got a microphone on this. I could have told him, I got you.
Yeah. Well, right after, just as the police are coming up to the front door, say, by the way, I've been watching you for the last 20 minutes.
And the funny thing is, he goes, rather than confronting him, he watched quietly as his friend ripped him off, and his friend even brought cleaning supplies in order to wipe off his fingerprints. He goes, I was like, wow, he's a real professional. He takes a spray bottle with him to wipe off fingerprints and a towel.
Oh, boy. That's when you know
so
who your
the guy had been ripped off for $30,000 twice that he had installed this elaborate security system, and he obviously didn't tell his buddy.
Well, no, and why would you, right? Why would you?
Exactly.
Why would you spend that kind of money on a security system and tell the world you've got it?
Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But anyhow, before I run out of time, anybody who wants more information on how to do wireless right and make all the right decisions can contact me at Joel at D as in David, R as in Rabbit, wireless.com. You can visit us on our site, www.drwireless.com. Facebook is facebook.com/drwireless.
And are they all the same site, Joel?
No. The www.drwireless.com is our basic website, and then we have the links on that for Facebook, for our blog, and for all of our other information sources for our Solivay sign up applications, the works.
Okay, listen, this was great. You know, when I get off the air, I've got another interview to do on another station when I actually get back up. But basically tonight when I'm off the air, I am going to go to your Facebook and see if I can't get that. Find out all about that Windows 10. Anyway.
Hopefully we'll both have Windows icons when we talk next week.
All right. Hey, Joel, this was a great segment. Thank you so much. It was really great.
Wonderful. Take care. Have a good weekend.
All right. Now, everybody, do not go away, because waiting in the wings is our own Ray Mailer with his series, The American Grid. And you know what? He's going to be talking about the bill that Dianne Feinstein introduced for $1.3 billion. It's a water bill and a highway trust fund issue. He's going to talk about millions of people, passengers at LAX. And you know what? He's going to probably talk a lot about California. And then he says... we got some surprises when it comes to the NFL in Southern California. So we'll be right back with Ray Mailer right after these brief messages. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:08 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 91 degrees here in the heart of holy cow. And it's telling me the high today was 108 degrees here in sunny Southern California. The low is going to be 71. I can't wait for that to happen so I can turn off my air conditioner. I've got a battle going on with utility companies. They think that I am independently wealthy. But you know what? Aside from all of that, he's waiting in the wings. He's going to tell us all about the money we don't have and the money that Congress is going to assess from us. We'll be, what the heck? We'll just get him in here. Let's talk to our own Ray Mailer and get him in here.
Bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good the day that I die.
And now, from the National Archives of Public Planning, located in the basement of his Long Beach Reference Library, the unappreciated but widely acknowledged expert on past, present, and future infrastructure planning, let's welcome Mr. Ray Mailer and his American Grid. Hey, Ray, welcome aboard. Good to have you here. You've actually been sitting there waiting in the wings for some time here. I'm glad we finally got you back in here, even though I have a feeling until you get to the end of your segment that most of what you're going to have to say to me is going to be disappointing because I saw some of what you had there. But the last things you put down there was exciting. So you're going to start with the disappointing, or are you going to start with the exciting?
Well, I don't think all the early stuff is disappointing, but they're just the facts. It's just what's being done.
You know what?
Yeah,
I do know.
Jack Webb said,
the item at the end is probably going to be the most interesting. Dragnet, he said, "Just the facts, ma'am, just the facts."
That's right, just the facts. So so we have a few kind of more just news items. I'm just going to pass on. So first, let's talk about water. And we've been talking in previous shows in the last few weeks about water proposals at the state level. Well, the feds are starting to get into the act now, recognizing California's 4-year-long drought. And Senator Dianne Feinstein recently introduced a new water bill to the Senate. She proposes to spend $1.3 billion over 10 years to increase water storage, desalination, and some other projects in the state. This proposal is definitely likely to clash with the thinking of some Central California Republicans in the House. There's also a bill on the House side approved or sponsored by David Valadao, who represents the Central Valley area between Fresno and Bakersfield, but excluding the cities. And this would divert water that is currently flushed into San Francisco Bay to support endangered fish populations, to divert that water to the San Joaquin Valley for farmers. Feinstein and her co-sponsor Barbara Boxer are emphasizing that the Senate bill would not alter the Endangered Species Act, which is which legislation is the reason for the water diversions into San Francisco Bay. So apparently some compromises in the works between the House Republican and the Feinstein-Boxer proposal, and we will see what happens. What perhaps is noteworthy about this is if portions of the Feinstein proposal prevail, well, this could be some additional federal funding to create new water storage or new desalination.
So federal funding in the form of matching funds?
I think that would remain to be seen, but should those provisions survive the compromise process, then just kind of guessing here, maybe the Federal Bureau of Reclamation throws some matching dollars in to match state dollars that the Department of Water Resources is responsible for. So, short answer to your question is, that'd probably be some sort of matching thing, but it really would depend on the compromise that's established between the House and Senate. Moving on to highways, we talked again in the last couple of weeks about the Federal Highway Trust Fund. And I think last week I spent some time talking about a proposal to try to solve this problem for 6 years, as well as to kind of permanently resolve how we collect our highway taxes, possibly including stopping or ending the charge per gallon of gasoline, and using one of the other methods, perhaps a per mile charge. So apparently Congress couldn't quite get things settled, so they decided to kick the can down the road for another 3 months and set up a temporary spending provision to keep the Federal Highway Trust Fund funded. But this does set the stage for a new battle in the fall over how to more permanently resolve the Highway Trust Fund problems.
At which time they'll kick the can down the road for another 3 months.
Yeah, and that would be consistent with what's been going on for the last at least 2 years, by my count, possibly longer. So it's I don't know. It could be eventually we get to a crisis point, and the issue is forced. But it's always advantageous if we can get our members of Congress and our senators to do it. To do this in advance of real funding issues. If somebody who's funding federal bonds is saying, "Hey, no more bonds," that tends to force a solution on us to get it done. But I would hope we can do it before then.
Yeah. From your lips to God's ears.
What's that?
From your lips to God's ears.
Yeah, that's right. Just play nicely, and everything works out fine. Some other tidbits I picked up. Even if you're not from California, odds are pretty good you've probably flown through our big airport, LAX. Well, I don't know if you know this, Bob, but LAX is currently sized by its infrastructure to support about 40 million annual passengers. And it had reached a peak before September 11th, which is kind of a watershed event in terms of how airports operate and how they're set up. Mm-hmm. We actually hit 60 million passengers in a year.
Jeez.
Yeah. So it was already 50% over capacity. Now, September 11th did put such a dent in air travel that we were actually within the 40 million, infrastructure threshold for a number of years. But the economy has been improving. Air travel is increasing. And last year we had over 70 million passengers fly through LAX.
Ontario supposed to ease that pain when they built all those terminals in there, and they actually left space for 2 more terminals in there? And then all of a sudden the controversy came in, and LAX decided whether they were going to sell it back to Ontario or run it themselves. And wasn't that supposed to ease some of that traffic?
You are absolutely right. LAX and the Southern California Association of Governments were supposed to work together to distribute air travelers to Burbank, to Orange County, to Long Beach, and especially to Ontario. Ontario was supposed to be the big winner in this deal. And the goal was to try to get 30 million passengers each year. Well, because of some of the things you've mentioned, kind of the fight between the City of Ontario and LAX, ownership of the airport is called into question, all kinds of issues, and on top of it, then there was the recession, and Ontario, I think, currently has only about 7 million passengers a year, maybe 10 million, something like that.
I think they're trying to. And the current capacity is what? Do you know?
Should be close to 30 million.
And they've only built half the terminals, which means that, and they've got room for twice as many terminals. They left the space there and the infrastructure for it. So, I mean, if it's geared for 30, that means we could actually do 60 if they get off the stick, and that's got to give some relief to LAX.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've been surprised sometimes when I meet travelers at LAX, how far they've come, that particular morning. I am amazed how many people come from deep in the Inland Empire and make it all the way over there. And
you know why?
I think it'd be great for the region to see Ontario.
It's because you can get the nonstop flights, from LAX, where you have direct flights but not nonstop flights from Ontario.
That's the rub. I think that's one of the biggest problems of being, kind of a smaller airport is getting the nonstop flights.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine there are no fewer people. I'm sure there's a very high percentage of people who live in the Inland Empire who would enjoy a nonstop to Chicago, to Dallas, to New York.
Yeah.
But I think those are sometimes a little bit difficult to find, or maybe they're just one a day.
Yeah, if you have that in Ontario, I'm not so sure that you do, because most of the time you're on a cattle car that's stopping everywhere to get you on the other side of the country, and and that's actually diametrically opposed to giving the relief to LAX that they'd like to have. They've got to get those nonstop flights in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the reasons, even though I'm equidistant between Orange County and LAX, and Long Beach is in my backyard, we very often fly out of LAX it can be for fares, or also if I'm going to Chicago or New York. I mean, there's a flight every half hour.
Yeah, and you don't have to stop on the way over there.
Oh yeah, and they're all nonstops. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're talking to our own Ray Mailer with his American Grid. He's got lots of stuff going on here. We'll be right back with Ray and find out what else is in that bag of tricks that he has that is going to get us all excited. I know what part of it is, and I'm excited to talk about it. We'll be right back with, and don't go away because you don't want to miss this. We'll be right back with Ray Mailer after these brief messages. Don't go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Ray Mailer and his American Grid. Ray, you got the microphone, my friend.
Well, thanks, Robert. Let's move on to cap and trade. Cap and trade. For those who aren't familiar with it, a cap and trade auction is something unique to California. This was created with the climate change bill AB 32, which I think passed in 2006, and the auction started a couple of years ago. What cap and trade is it creates a market for pollution credits. Basically, there are a few flavors of this, but the basic idea here is a creator of pollution, which might be a factory or something like that, buys the rights to pollute. And the state holds quarterly auctions, And just so you know how much money can be raised by something like this, even in a state not known for its industrialization like California, we raised $626 million at a May auction.
Okay, hang on a second. So we as a state are encouraging polluters to buy a license to continue polluting and hurt the air quality of our state. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't blame them. They're really upset. I'm upset, too. What a stupid concept. Even though it's $60 million, you know what? That doesn't seem like it's progressive in solving the problem.
Well, okay. Well, let's.
It might solve a money problem, but it's not solving a pollution problem.
Yeah. Well, Well, the whole thing starts with, as you perhaps understood industry prior to this cap and trade legislation, a polluter within various environmental restrictions that the EPA had been imposing, could basically pollute as much as production required. So if you needed to run your factory 7x24 maximum capacity, you would just keep producing. Well, what the state did, and this first step was the really controversial part, is the state said, you factory can only produce X tons of trash. After that, or pollution, after that, you have to start paying for it. So, every factory is kind of given a basic amount. And then after that, you need to start buying them from each other. So there might be another factory that, expects to have low production. And so they'll be, say, a 50% operation, and they would then offer their pollution credits on the market. And then somebody who was going to have high production would say, yeah, we'll buy those credits so that we can have maximum production. And the state, basically sets itself up in the middle of the auction, and the funds wind up accruing to the state. Without discussing the merits of the bill, because my intention is not to make it a political discussion, and I'll say there's plenty to talk about politically, but and this has been controversial since the feds first approved this and something like this in 1990. But anyway, so the firms can buy these permits, from others who are polluting less at a particular time. The thinking at the time was, well, if California does it, a bunch of other states will follow suit. Well, for the last 9 years, no other states have done this. So it does not seem likely that it's going to happen. But I wanted to take a look at some of the things it does. California's approach to cap and trade is really unique in that it covers almost every industry that pollutes. And just for comparison, there is a group of 9 states in the Northeast that also have a cap and trade marketplace, but they do it only for electricity providers. California covers 600 facilities, including oil refineries, food processors, paper mills, cement manufacturers, and electricity providers. And this winds up covering most routine customer good or consumer goods, potentially making it a regressive tax. The additional gasoline cost due to this particular piece of climate change legislation is estimated at 10 cents per gallon. So, for the last couple of years, I know our gas prices have been moving up and down and have been especially high in the last several months. But 10 of those cents are basically attributed specifically to this marketplace. One of the other interesting things is to take a look at the cost to, say, a food producer. There's a large, I guess it's the world's largest maker of tomato paste products or tomato sauce products based in Central California. So this world's largest processor of tomatoes estimated that these pollution credits the needing to buy these pollution credits increased its costs by about $800,000 per year. So that's the company's estimate. And then the state, on the other hand, tried to say, well, this increases costs to consumers by about 1/100th of a cent per can of tomato sauce. So I don't know. Is it a big number? Is it a small number? I guess we'd need to figure out how many cans of tomato sauce that factory produces.
Yeah, 1/100th of a cent per can. is a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a done deal. So you might ask, well, what is the state doing with the $626 million we raised in May? Well, these cap-and-trade funds are supposed to be used for two or three main areas. One is to fund some cost reduction programs, including a 25% mandate to fund some low-income benefits that further improve the environment. So one of them is a variation. You may recall the Cash for Clunkers program.
Sure.
Back in the, I think, the late 80s or early 90s. So if you qualify as low income, you can receive up to $9,500 to junk your gas guzzler in exchange for a hybrid or an electric vehicle. That seems pretty good.
That's a down payment on another vehicle. That's a good deal.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't have to be new. So if you buy a hybrid or an electric that's a few years old, that $9,500, if you're low income, could go a long way to almost out and out buying it.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I would say arguably a good use of the funds. Here's another program. Other low-income folks can basically receive the benefits of a low electric bill from new rooftop solar panels without having to make the investment to install the rooftop panels. So I guess basically these cap-and-trade funds are used to basically put rooftop solar panels on houses. So, your typical low-income family that might be paying close to $100 a month for electricity, that could get knocked down to $10 or even $5 a month. So, and then the other thing you may or may not have noticed is I noticed a few years ago we started getting these electricity rebates once or twice a year on the bill. Apparently, that is funded by cap and trade.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it seems like twice a year on a bill. I never know when it's coming, but suddenly the electric bill is half what I'm expecting it to be. And I just think, thank you very much.
Well, you know what? After my water bill, I cringe when I go to the mailbox now because I know my electric bill is coming up next.
Yeah. So basically these auctions produced $830 million last year and are estimated to produce $2.2 billion this year.
Wow.
So these are pretty substantial chunks of change. So
that's fantastic.
Anyway, all right, enough about cap and trade.
Yeah,
let's talk about the NFL.
So,
the crowd likes that one.
Are we going to talk about Tom Brady, or are we going to talk about something better?
We're going to talk about something better. It looks likely that the LA area's 20-year drought of NFL may be coming to an end. And what seems likely is that you may be aware there are basically two deals in the works. Mm-hmm. One is either that the St. Louis Rams relocate to Inglewood, or the Oakland Raiders and the San Diego Chargers relocate to Carson. Now, what's unique during this 20-year absence of the NFL, the LA area actually has two entitled stadium projects with secured funding. This is
just
pretty phenomenal.
Just waiting for a team.
Yep, just waiting for a team. And at least according to some press I've been reading lately, it looks like things are leaning in favor of the Oakland-San Diego shared stadium solution in Carson. And the reasoning is that there is something called the California problem in the NFL. Oh. So there is acknowledgement that the LA area could support not one but two NFL teams. But California as a state probably doesn't have enough market to support four teams. So the advantage of the shared stadium deal in Carson is that the Raiders would be able to resume their fan loyalty as the former LA Raiders. Mm-hmm. And I certainly noticed there's LA Raiders paraphernalia still around. It never went away for 20 years. Yep. And then a decent share of the Chargers fans are from Orange County, and the thinking is the Chargers will also have an already established fan base. And it probably also
So,
draw up a few folks from San Diego proper.
If they're leaving San Diego, they have a terrific fan base in San Diego. I mean, the residents of San Diego love, the Chargers. So they lose their team?
Yeah, so they lose their team, or they face the 110-mile trip to Carson to see the team. To see them play. Yeah, I certainly acknowledge that whenever I've been in San Diego. There is a very loyal, very strong fan base for the Chargers. And so the moving the Chargers to Carson and the Raiders to Carson to share a stadium really helps resolve this California problem. And then the Rams, although they were in LA for a while, they kind of lost all of their fan base. And they really are a St. Louis team at this point. Mm-hmm. And on top of it, the Rams, or St. Louis, seems to be putting together probably the most viable new stadium plan. Neither San Diego nor Oakland seem to be putting something together that has that critical mass where certainly the NFL feels convinced it's going to come together and to its satisfaction. So things seem to be coalescing toward Raiders and Chargers moving to Carson. And I don't know how many folks are excited about it.
I think that is exciting. People that I talk to all the time can't believe that Los Angeles hasn't got a team.
It is amazing. Yeah, such a large city, that does not have a football team or pro football team. I mean, arguably the Trojans and the Bruins have been doing a nice job filling in, and there's certainly no shortage of fun things to do on a weekend, here in LA. And it's not always watching a sports event. Frequently, for many of us, it's participating in a sports event. I mean, the weather's always so nice. You have your choice of surfing or playing baseball or playing football yourself or going skiing or hiking or all kinds of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And isn't that really what Southern California is all about?
Indeed, it is. I think it's all about getting together with a few friends and and just enjoying the weather. I mean, there's just so much beautiful weather. Whether you're surfing, skiing, hiking, baseball, football, get out there and do it. If you
live in Southern California, you are an hour away from everything. Within an hour, I should say, of everything. Anything you could possibly want to do.
Yeah, it is remarkable, and I think that explains why we haven't. The world never came to an end that all the NFL teams left LA. We've gotten along just fine without it.
Yeah, absolutely. I can remember Maureen and I. We'd go up to the Greek Theater because we were going to see a performance, right? And we'd take a picnic lunch with us. So we'd sit out there on the grass and we'd have a nice lunch and a bottle of wine and the whole 9 yards. And when it got to be showtime, we'd get our tickets and go on in, and that was the lifestyle of Southern California.
Indeed, and you're reminding me. I have not taken my family up to the Hollywood Bowl this summer. We're going to have to do that soon before school starts.
Well, sounds good. Hey, listen, great show, Ray. Any idea what we're going to talk about next week, or is it going to be a surprise?
It will be a surprise.
Sounds good to me, my friend. Hey, great show. Stay safe. Have a safe trip home. Give that lovely lady of yours a hug and a kiss from me, will you?
It'll be my pleasure to do so.
All right. Good night, Ray. Now, do not go away. When we come back, we're going to talk about the birthdays for today, the secret daily teachings for your life, the Harvard Business Tip of the Day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away. You don't want to miss this. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. You know what time it is? What day it is? Yeah, you do. It is July the 29th, and it's somebody's birthday. And you know what? Patty, I think she pronounces it Scialfa. She was born in 1953. Is a singer, songwriter, and guitarist, best known for being a bandmate and wife of Bruce Springsteen. The pair married in 1991 and have 3 children. And Patty, I'm sorry I can't pronounce your last name. Not sure why it's not Bruce Springsteen. Then we'd have no problem with that at all. Well, here's a lady we all know and love. She's a beautiful gal. Born in 1966, country music singer and songwriter, best known for her ballads about women and children. It's happy birthday to Martina McBride. Absolutely. Happy birthday, Martina. And today in history, in 1957, the International Atomic Energy Agency, you've heard it spoke of as the IAEA, was established. That's the big deal with the Iran deal right now. They're the ones that are going to be policing it, the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, and it was established in 1957. Well, in 1958, U.S. President Dwight David Eisenhower signs into law the National Aeronautics and Space Act, which creates NASA. Yep, good deal, right? And in 1966, Bob Dylan is injured in a motorcycle accident near Woodstock, New York. And finally, in 1981, the marriage of Prince Charles to Lady Diana Spencer took place on July the 29th, 1981. You know what great memories of her. The sad thing with their marriage, but still great things. What a great lady she was. And let's talk about our quote for today. Our quote from today comes from a very wise man, one of our country's founders, Benjamin Franklin. And he says, in general, mankind, since the improvement in cookery, eats twice as much as nature actually requires. Now, that makes a lot of sense, I think, doesn't it? It does to me, anyway. Now, it is time for that secret daily teaching for your life. You heard me talk about this many, many times. We're talking about a positive mental attitude here. If you adopt a positive mental attitude, your life is going to take a turn. It'll be better for it, and the lives of everyone who you touch will be better for that as well. The teaching for today is to think there is not enough is to look at the outside pictures and think that everything comes from the outside. When you do that, you'll most surely see lack and limitation. You know, or you now know, that nothing comes into existence from the outside, and that everything first comes from thinking and feeling it on the inside. Your mind is the creative power of all things. Think about it. I'm telling you guys, this stuff works. Don't ignore it. It really works. Let's talk about that Harvard business tip of the day. The management tip today is get the credit you deserve. Well, think about it. There's nothing more frustrating than when someone takes credit for the work or introduces your idea at a meeting, but it's important to avoid making a scene. Not every piece of work has to have your name on it. Ask yourself, how much does this really matter? Will it negatively impact my career? And instead of making accusations, ask your colleague why he took ownership. Maybe the person will acknowledge his mistake and make things right by emailing the group to give you credit. But if you feel like you're being systematically undermined, talk to your boss. Rather than complaining, frame it as an effort to create a better working relationship. And next time, be proactive. Lay out who will present ideas to coworkers, who will field questions, and who will email the senior team. Clearly, outlining your duties will make sure that you get the credit that you deserve. Makes sense, doesn't it? Sure it does. Well, it's time for those interesting but useless facts. These things are getting better all the time. So the first one up, did you know that we're going to deal with ketchup? Did you know that ketchup was sold in the 1830s as medicine? Yeah, absolutely. Well, I suppose it made, it was sort of like Mary Poppins. Sugar makes the medicine go down. So did ketchup, I suppose. You know that 2 out of 3 adults in the United States have hemorrhoids? Yeah. Well, what a pain in the ass that is. Oh, my goodness. Did you know that Britain's first escalator was installed in Harrods in 1878? Can you imagine an escalator in 1878? Wow. And by the way, if you haven't been to Harrods, what a magnificent, huge department store. They've got everything you could even think of. You know, the largest man-made lake in the United States is Lake Mead, created by Hoover Dam. And of course, now we've only got about 40% of the water. It's down 60% because of the drought that's going on. Hopefully we can get that rectified. Did you know that the most powerful electric eel is found in the rivers of Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, and Peru, and produces a shock of, get this, between 400 and 650 volts. Wow. That'll kill you guys. Wow. You know, on the cartoon show, The Jetsons, Jane is 33 years old and her daughter, Judy, is 15. Think about it. 15. That made Jane 18 when she had her daughter. That means she was pregnant when she was 17. Okay. Did you know that horses and rabbits cannot vomit? That's interesting, I guess. Did you know that Coca-Cola was originally green? Oh, I don't think so. You know, approximately 115 tons of ocean salt spray enters the Earth's atmosphere each second. Isn't that is interesting? And I wonder, if that salt spray enters the Earth's atmosphere, and then when it rains, it's not salty, it's fresh water. That's a pretty good system. Too bad we couldn't harness that, huh? Did you know that food can only be tasted if it's mixed with saliva? If it's not mixed with saliva, you can't taste it. Taste buds won't get anything on it. How about this? The Prime Minister cannot speak in the House of Commons without a permission. The Prime Minister can't speak without permission. Give that a break. Now, let me leave you with this one. Bumping foreheads with a handshake is the traditional greeting in Tibet. So I suppose you don't want to do that too hard, right? I wouldn't think so. Anyway, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to be dealing with your emails. First one comes from Zoe Hoping from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, asking about head of household. We'll deal with that right after this commercial break. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:52 p.m. Pacific Time. Currently 91 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, we're coming down to the wire. It's time for me to answer your emails today, and I certainly want to do that. But here's the thing. I want to remind you that this is an entertainment section of the show, and that sometimes the emails you guys send me are a little sketchy. I do the best I can to give you a comprehensive answer, but we always suggest and encourage you to contact a licensed professional. They're going to interview you, gather the data that's necessary to give you a good, thorough answer, and they're always going to give you the peace of mind of knowing that you don't have to worry about that answer. You're not going to get somebody knocking on your door or get a registered letter or somebody tapping you on the shoulder, because that person's going to be responsible for it. One of the conditions of their licensing is that they have errors and omissions insurance. And the nice part of that about that is that with errors and omissions insurance, if they make a mistake, they pay the piper, not you. Now, let's get into our first question. First one comes from Zoe Hopping from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, asking about head of household, and says, my daughter lives with me, and I've been filing as head of household. She's a full-time student, and I pay more than half her expenses, but she turned 24 during the past year, had $16,500 of income, and took an exemption for herself on her own tax return. Do I still qualify to file as head of household? Well, Zoe, no, you don't. Your daughter no longer is a qualifying child because she was not under the age of 24 at the end of the year, and she's not any other kind of qualifying person because her income's over the personal exemption amount. So the fact that she claimed an exemption for herself on her own tax return also bars her from being a qualifying person. So if your daughter is the only person for whom you provide a household, you're no longer qualifying for head of household status. Sorry about that, Zoe. Next email comes from Abrea James from Bend, Oregon, asking about no salary for proprietorships, and writes, if I set up a sideline business as a proprietorship, can I set my salary from it at zero so that profits will build up in the business without me paying tax on them? Well, there's another bad news for you, Abrea. The answer is no. A proprietorship does not pay salary to its owner. Instead, all of its income is taxed to the owner, subject to both income tax and self-employment tax. However, setting up a qualified retirement plan for it may let you save all or much of the income tax-free. Now, a solo 401k lets you save the first $15,500. That's $20,500 if you're age 50 or over of business income, plus 20% of net business income. Let me give you an example of that. Let's just say that you're 50 years old and your sideline makes $25,000. You can save all of its income in a solo 401k. The alternative, setting up your new business as a corporation lets you set a salary for yourself. This entails many complications, so consult an expert like we've been talking about all along. You don't want to try and do this stuff on your own. You need a licensed professional to help you. My next email comes from Ethan Lee from Port Allegheny, Pennsylvania, asking about joint liability, and says, in past years, my wife hid income from the IRS, so I filed separately to avoid being liable for her taxes. Now, she's reporting all of her income and wants to file joint returns with me. Will filing jointly with her now make me liable for her back taxes and penalties for those past years? Well, Ethan, no, it won't. Joint liability for your spouse's taxes applies only in the years for which you file a joint return with your spouse. Now, filing a joint return after a period of filing separate returns does not retroactively create joint liability for the separate return years. However, before filing jointly, be absolutely sure that your wife is not continuing to understate her income. IRS scrutiny of prior years may lead to the current year and ultimately include your items. So any overpayment might then be applied to back taxes. So you want to be careful about that, especially careful about that. My last email today comes from Ryan Moretti from Amarillo, Texas, asking about deductible medical expenses, and writes, my mother lives with me, and I claim her as a dependent. Can I include her Medicare Part D premiums for her prescription drug benefit in my deductible medical expenses? Well, it's about time we got to one, Ryan. The answer is yes. Medicare premiums paid under both Part B, which is the outpatient insurance, and Part D, which is the prescription drug benefit, qualify as deductible medical expenses. Now, normal rules apply, so you can deduct the medical expenses on a dependent, and your deduction is limited to the amount by which your total medical expenses exceed 10% of your adjusted gross income. So kind of keep that in mind. You want to be really, really careful when you're doing these things. And like I said, always, always, always talk to a licensed professional. You're going to be glad you did. They'll give you peace of mind, let you sleep at night. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. I also broadcast on Roar 1776 Radio and on Live 365 Radio every Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all of the emails I deal with here on the show. On my next show, my expert contributor is going to be John Matthews with his series, The Conservative Syndicate. And you know what? In about 15 minutes, I'm going to be on his show. So you might want to go to your website and just go www.theconservativesyndicate.com. I'll be there in about 15 minutes, and you can hear me on John's show. My special guest is Sean Lefebvre tomorrow with his healthcare series, Geared for Wellness. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network. That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza. Producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Time for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. In the meantime, stay safe, stay happy, be good, and good night, everybody.